All right, today we're going to be replacing these rear shocks on this Chevy Suburban. So this Suburban has air ride and electronic dampening shocks. So it's a little bit different than a typical shock, but just a couple extra steps, and otherwise it's just like a regular one. So nothing crazy, but first thing you want to do on this particular model is, according to the service procedure, we need to release the air pressure. So I went ahead and did that with the scan tool under the functional tests. So you go in there and just hit the button and it will release the air pressure. It says to do it for 60 seconds. And then we can go ahead and disconnect our air line. On these, it has a little metal clip. All you have to do is turn it to the side. And it pops off. So that's the normal position. So they just snap on. There's a little O-ring in there. So those pull off pretty easy. And then there's also an electrical connector at the top that we have to undo. So it's up here. The bail's on top of it. Just pry it up. So that's really the only few extra steps to this whole process from a typical shock. So now we just go at it like any other regular shock. So you got to remember, on most suspension systems, the shock absorber is what's limiting the suspension from falling down any further. So remember that spring's still under tension in here. So we need to support our axle with some form of jack to make sure that our axle won't drop down any further. So we're going to put this screw jack underneath the differential here. So once we bump that up, now we're ready to take the bolts out of the top and the bottom. So it's just one bolt, one nut for the top and the bottom on this one. So it's pretty simple. So once we get that bolt loose, we can see it's under a little bit of tension. So just adjust our jack here. And the bolt comes out easily. Let's get our top bolt loose. Wiggle it out of there. There we go. So that's all it takes to get this shock absorber out of there. So we got our new shock absorber. We're going to maneuver it into place. So we get that top bolt started. We're going to adjust our jack here so our bottom bolt will fall in. Then we're going to run down the bolts. Once we got our bolts run down, all we got to do is plug our air back in and our electrical connector. There we have it. So we'll just do the other side real quick. All right, now that we got both our shocks in, we can take our lift support out of here. There we have it, pretty easy.